One of the biggest problems for white belts, blue belts, and purple belts is commitment. That's what's holding you back from going to that next level. Now, when I say commitment, I don't mean your ability to come to class. You guys are in class all the time, especially this crew. You guys show up, you train your hearts out, you get your reps in. But what I'm talking about is when you're rolling. Now, you're not uncommitted, but you're not really committed either. The best way that you can really describe that is like being engaged. You guys say you want to be committed, right? You kind of show up, and that's part of the commitment. And you defend really well. For example, William, when Evan's trying to armbar you, how hard do you defend? 100%. You know, you see a white belt fighting another white belt for an armbar, my God, they fight that armbar like their life depends on it. Because really it does. You know, if somebody's trying to choke you, you defend as hard as you can, you're all out. You have nothing to lose. The lose is the ultimate loss. You've got to tap, you lose, right? Makes sense. But then I see you start to attack. You're in side control. And I see you look at that arm, and you're like, I want that arm. I know what I have to do, but there's so much danger associated with being committed to that armbar. Prime example, that straight armbar and mount that we worked on today. You know that you have to come out over the arm to dominate, that you know that you have to put your head on the floor, but you're always holding that piece in the back of your head. I'm losing position on mount. It doesn't feel comfortable, okay? Sometimes when we drill these things, it's my fault for not telling you, hey, when the guy's really defending that arm, when we do that move where we defend and we push in the armpit, you don't have a choice to be in mount anymore. They're pushing you off. So don't worry about leaving mount because you're getting pushed off of mount. You need to commit to that arm. You need to commit to that submission. Go out over top of it. If they escape, they were already escaping anyway. That's part of rolling. It's continuous. I am not telling you to give up position for submission. That's not what I'm telling you. But what I'm telling you is, if you're going to go for that armbar, go for the armbar. Most of the time when you white belts, blue belts, and even some of you guys purple belts, when you miss that armbar, it's because you really didn't go for the armbar. Guard, prime example. You don't really swivel your hips. You don't really explode your hips up. You don't commit to turning. What you do is you put your foot on the hip, you start to turn a little bit, you feel some resistance, and you say, well, that's not going to work, so you just let it fall apart. And again, that's totally different than feeling them out and going, okay, they're defending in this place, I'm going to go to another place. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is you go, hey, I'm going to armbar this fool. And then you do 80% of the work for the armbar, and you don't finish it. You cannot finish an armbar unless you do 100% of the armbar. If you don't push with the pelvis, pull with the arm, squeeze your knees, there's no armbar. You can do all of that. You can do all of the hips up, cut the corner, leg around the head, break their posture. You can do 80% of the work and not finish the armbar because you weren't committed to the armbar. You can be engaged for 18 months like I am, not get married, and you're never married. It doesn't matter how long you're engaged, you're never married if you don't actually go get married. It's the same way with your armbar. If you commit to the armbar like, hey, I want to do it, but I don't really want to do it right now. I'm going to wait. Time expires, guys. We've only got a finite amount of time. Does that make sense? And we also have to make a distinction between being explosive, being aggressive, and being committed. When I roll with you guys, like the Juggernaut, you don't see me like the Flash, moving around real fast. That can be part of your game, but it doesn't mean I have to rip your arm off. I'm going to roll over you with my technique, and I'm committed. When I step over for an armbar, if I want that armbar, I take the armbar. If you defend it, that's okay. You don't see me, oh, I can't believe I went for that armbar and missed it. I start going for the next thing. That's what you guys need to do too. Be committed to your techniques does not mean being spaz, does not mean being explosive. Those are other things that you can do sometimes, may help you or may hurt you, but it's totally separate from being committed. So I'd like to see that when you guys start to roll, that when you start going for a technique, that you're committed to it. Does that mean that you rip your opponent's arm off? No. But it means that if there's 8 important parts for the armbar, you actually attempt all 8. If you end up on bottom, guys, you end up on bottom. That's part of jiu-jitsu. Now escape from the bottom. It's also one of the main reasons that between white belt and blue belt, we get better at dominating and holding position than we do at finishing submissions, because we're afraid of what's going to happen when we don't finish it. And that's okay too. Eating crap on bottom from someone is a terrible experience. But what's worse is getting past someone, knowing that you're better, being a better grappler, dominating someone, but never finishing, not because you weren't capable, but because you never really tried. That make sense?